and individuals from around the world. The star your name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Quick question. Are you nervous about stopping in your vehicle? With symmetrical all-wheel drive, Subaru provides improved efficiency and a quicker response to road conditions than competitors' optional systems. Yes, Subaru is designed to deliver confident capability no matter the weather or road conditions. That's why you see so many Subaru models around you. Check out the new Subaru selection today at Muscatel Subaru, just off Exit 1 in Moorhead.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Yeah, welcome to Weather Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. It is Valentine's Day, and it's 106 right now. We got a full rundown on that forecast coming up just in a moment. And a little hint, it's a nice day out there with temperatures near 30 degrees right now, but there is snow in the forecast, at least south of us here in Fargo. So keep that in mind if you're driving south today. You will be driving into snow in South Dakota and southern Minnesota. Guys, how's it going? Dean, Bridgette?
Going good.
Good. I'm glad. Bridgette, how's your Valentine's Day? Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Thank you. It's going well. I don't know if you can see that behind my desk chair there, but
you got flowers.
Bisons.
Oh,
there's some roses below that.
There's some flowers. Yeah. So Valentine's Day is going well, and in reference to the weather, I was on the phone with a potential guest down at Mitchell, South Dakota this morning, and said just between us and Mitchell, they're getting a little snowfall. They're talking 3 to 6 inches of snow down there. Mm-hmm. What's the truth?
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot.
We're shocked you're not traveling down there. We figure for sure you changed your plans at the last minute.
It must have been not a mandatory drive. And you're like, I'll just stay home today.
Not today. So I cannot be blamed for that weather system.
We should
but there'll be more.
We should call down there and see if anyone noticed any chemtrails yesterday.
Down in South
Dakota.
Like our listener John says, usually wherever they're spraying the chemtrails the day after, there's always precip. What do you think, Bridgette? Coincidence or just happenstance?
You guys can say whatever you want because you're not going to listen to what I say anyway, so it's fine.
No, we'll listen. We just maybe won't agree with you.
Right. Because I did mention in our email conversation earlier that all that talk, you can hear that thud. That's my eyes rolling back in my head.
I thought that was your forehead hitting your desk. Just up.
Not again.
Well, I know somebody that would know if that's a fact, but they might be out of town and not listening. So we'll go on with the forecast. We've got cloudy skies out there right now and temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s across the region. And we're not going to move much today. Low 30s. Some spots could poke into that 34, 35 degree range.
That's A-okay, though.
What's that?
So that's A-okay, though.
For this time of the year, we should be in the lower 20s. So this is bonus territory that we're in. And again, like Justin said, quite a bit of snow, 3 to 6 inches, stretching from, let's say, Mitchell, South Dakota, down through between Watertown and Sioux Falls. And then that'll stretch over towards the Twin Cities tonight. So if you have any travel plans south today or tonight, keep up to date on the road conditions. You're going to run into some slippery travel. But for us, nothing. Maybe a few flurries up to possibly Wahpeton, but I think most of it will stay just south of the North-South Dakota border.
Where's my rain, Dean?
We need it. We need the
We
preset.
need Parker to cut one that says, "Where's my snow?"
We can work on that.
We can work on it.
We can get.
Man,
I'm
I'm missing the snow, Dean. That's all
I know.
I can say.
There's nothing in the forecast. I wish I had better news for you. We're looking at partly cloudy overnight tonight, down into the teens, and tomorrow partly cloudy, a little breeze and a little cooler, mid-20s, and then a brief shot of cold air on Friday with highs in the teens and a little bit of a breeze out of the northwest, but then it turns downright windy on Saturday. Winds ramp up out of the west, and that'll warm us up into the some spots upper 30s. I think mid-30s for sure, and then mid to upper 30s on Sunday. So mild weekend, albeit windy on Saturday. So, and most of, at least the first half of next week, looking mild with temps remaining in the 30s. There is possibility of a storm at the end of the month if you check out our LRC calendar that is circled on there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And then I think March.
Do you see Bridgette?
She's traveling at the end of the month. Unreal.
She's over here.
She's over here
writing
squinting.
notes.
Just the hell did he say?
Oh, man.
I'm gonna go need to check that calendar.
Bridgette.
Where are you going so we can know ahead of time, please?
Well, next week I've got a couple 3 days on the road. So
Next week is fine. It's the week after.
Okay. I gotta get on a plane, guys, and I got bad news for the state of Texas when I get to Houston.
Oh, jeez.
That's funny.
They'll probably have an ice storm or something down there.
It looked like storms down in Texas.
Probably.
Dear Lord.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you can't make this up.
No, you can't.
Not when it's every time you travel.
Man.
Jeez.
It's I don't know how good this record is. Am I tracking like an 80% accuracy rate here?
Did you cut off a witch doctor in traffic one day, or did you get like some hex or curse put on you?
I don't think we should talk about some of the traffic situations I have been in.
Yeah.
And additionally, so I think that some of this, it was worse last year. It's gotten a little bit better this year, but that's only because we haven't had
it's been a dry winter. Oh, man. Well, March, at least it looks like March holds the opportunity for a few more precip chances than this month, which is good. I mean, we're getting into that spring season, though.
Let me guess, March is your busiest month for traveling?
Yeah, of course
it is.
Of
course it is.
Yep.
No, it's not.
So sorry to this tri-state region, folks.
I swear, people should be weather places throughout the country should be contracting Bridgette's travel out to see how accurate the forecast truly is.
I think she's in cahoots somewhere here.
I think she is.
This whole thing might just be a giant conspiracy, Bridgette, that wherever you go is where they chem sprayed the day before.
Look, there's not a lot of reasons to have an offshore bank account. But when you have one, it's a good reason.
Yeah, can't hate on that.
That's right. People are saying you can't make much money farming.
Right.
So we gotta pick other ways.
Well, why don't we hit a couple ag topics? Because in our last segment, we're going to be doing presidential trivia. And the question I've got, it's going to be a little tough. So it might take a while to get a correct answer. We might be using up that last segment for just presidential trivia. So let's hit a couple ag topics here, Bridgette.
Okay, so where would you like to start this morning? You want to talk about hogs and humans?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's always a good topic.
Indeed.
Well, this ought to drive some discussion, gentlemen. First of all, surgeons have externally attached a pig liver to a brain-dead human body and watched it successfully operate and filter blood. Now, permission was granted by the family of the human who had passed. Mm-hmm. Essentially, they were brain dead, but scientists are looking at this as a step toward eventually trying the technique in patients who have liver failure. There's currently about 10,000 people in the U.S. alone waiting for a liver transplant. So there's some work to be done, no doubt. Previous attempts at this have not always been successful, but as the techniques are perfected, as anti-rejection medications improve, that could also help with what's called a xenotransplant. That's an animal to human transplant. And we know that some of those things have happened in the past, pig valves for hearts, etc.
Right.
But
it's been successful with the hearts.
Entire organ.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it has. I have a friend with a pig valve for a heart, and she named it. And it's not Wilbur. I'll have to ask her what the name of her pig valve is.
Well,
I don't think that's it.
Well, as many Busch Lights as Justin pounds each night, he might be one of the first candidates for that.
I'm already on the list, dude. I'm already on that list.
It's only softball nights that happens. So,
I got my pig. Yeah, I've met my pig.
Yeah, you've got him breeding in your backyard.
I named him Future Liver.
That's it. That is a wild. So
with that, I think that's kind of a really cool thing, and being able to take a liver or even a heart out of a pig and put it into a human. And I don't really think anyone would have many problems with that, except for maybe some of the people who don't need the organ in the first place. But anybody who would need it, I would imagine them being like, hey, pig liver better than no liver.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, and actually kidneys have recently been used in this manner from hogs. They've been temporarily transplanted into, again, it was a brain dead donor who had permission from the family for the experimentation to see how well the kidneys would function. Those seem to have gone well, but heart transplants have not yet been successful in that type of a situation. So there's a lot of work being done, actually.
And pigs' organs are closest to humans, correct?
Very close. Very close. Now, just before we got on air, and boy, is this going to lead us astray, I got a tweet from a TV station in Kansas City that was talking about a barn that's being built to house 30,000 monkeys. And I can't imagine what you're going to do with a barn of monkeys, but potentially that could be a research development situation as well, where they'd be raising the monkeys for research. So if I think hogs are most closest to us, but there has been work done with monkeys. And Justin, the look on your face tells me you can't wait to dive into this barrel of monkeys.
And is this in Kansas City this is being done?
Yes. So good news, it wasn't Omaha, Dean. It was further south, where apparently things are a little more dicey.
There's a bunch of questions that pop up in my
Wow.
mind.
I'm sure Pete is having a field day with that one.
But I think we might have to hold off on those kind of questions being said.
Okay.
Probably. Oh, go ahead, Bridgette.
I would rather not talk about PETA. They don't need that kind of airtime.
They don't.
Bunch of
You are
monkeys
correct.
in a barn in Kansas. Are they farming them? Is it research? Could it be something else?
Could
All
be
questions.
a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't you need like a permit to have monkeys?
sure, they have some
Is this
kind
a
of
private
permit.
company? Is it a government company?
All
We're
right,
gonna have to get the scoop on this.
Let's move onward, and we do have a special guest coming on board. He's listening, saying, "Oh, what did I get myself into?"
Likely. So, yeah. So
Good
our
luck.
guest today is Bryan Moes, and he is from Florence, South Dakota. He has a feedlot down there full of beef animals, no monkeys involved. And wanted to talk to Bryan today about a number of things. First of all, we hear the term feedlot. What is it that they do? We know there's a lot of beef on the hoof standing around down there, but why do people use feedlots? Kind of what their operation looks like, how long they've been in practice. Also, this is a feedlot that has received the Environmental Stewardship Award for the region from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. So what are some of the practices that they do for good stewardship of their land? We're going to ask those questions of Bryan. When we come back, he'll be joining us, so don't go anywhere. Catch up with the American Ag Network and join us in just a few moments.
Watching a mixed bag in livestock trade on Wednesday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. Of Jesse Allen with this market update. Well, take a look over at cattle and hog trade. It's a tale of two different markets with triple-digit losses being seen in both live and feeder cattle here as we near the close, while the hog market finding some triple-digit strength, especially in deferred contracts here today. Now, the consumer price index being at 3.1%, the highest it's been since last November. It really doesn't seem like that's sitting well with the cattle complex here today. Producers are already paying high prices for cattle, and the likelihood that interest rates won't be reduced doesn't sit well with cattlemen or traders, it appears, here in this market, as we are just watching pressure build here, and really wild swings have been seen throughout the cattle market here as we've gone through the day. Now, box beef prices are mixed, with choice up 18 cents, $292.45. Select down $1.18 at $284.12. Looking over at feedlot country, we getting any activity out there here at midday? Well, so far, we got a little bit. 1,000 head sold in Kansas, 180 live. 600 head in Texas at 180 live, and a bit of 281 dressed in Kansas, but that is pretty much it. Now, meantime, hog prices and trends steady in Dorchester, Wisconsin, at Gardnerville, Iowa. Barrows and gilts at 48 here this hour. The strength of cutout values on Tuesday seemingly giving this hog market a good jolt here on Wednesday. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Hey, Peter.
That's me, just an ordinary guy.
Listen, quick favor.
At least I used to be, before Spherex fungicide. With 2 active ingredients, it gave me power to defeat Dawn. Now...
When you're done thwarting evil, you mind getting my cat out of that tree?
Everyone thinks I'm some kind of superhero.
And I thought I heard a runaway train earlier.
So I get a lot of save them and fix that, and of course, epic hero montages. But hey, for wheat and barley quality, I'll do what it takes to save the season. Spherex fungicide from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
From grain and livestock market analysis to policy updates affecting agriculture, the latest agricultural weather, ag news headlines, and much more, we have you covered as your trusted voice in agriculture. Get up-to-the-minute information with the American Ag Network, on air, online, and on demand. Find us on your favorite social media platforms and follow the American Ag Today podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. We are the American Ag Network. Right now, the lean hog market, February up 95, 75.17. April up 362, 84.70. Feeder cattle March down $2, 246 even. April down 230, 249.45. Live cattle February down 127, 182.47. April live cattle down 122, 183.87. Crude oil down 90 cents a barrel, 76.97. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Is so glad that you are joining us today here. And our discussion will get fairly lively, not like that barn full of monkeys we were talking about down around Kansas City, but even better. We will have with us today Bryan Moes. He's with Moes Feedlot in Florence, South Dakota. Bryan, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Doing good today. Just busy here getting stuff ready and lined up. We got cows starting to calve here. Might have a heifer dropping the first one. I'm actually looking at the cameras while I'm sitting here chatting with you guys. So yeah, doing good. It's snowing here though, so we got about an inch of snow that we're having to deal with. It's been kind of a light year.
We've had 8 inches so far.
All year.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
It's been pretty nice, but I miss it.
So if you're watching a calf potentially arrive on the camera, if you have to suddenly dash out, I guess we won't be surprised, right? You're there to catch them and make sure everything goes well, Bryan?
Right, yeah. Yeah, we got first calf heifers. We let them start on Valentine's Day as our target date usually. And it just allows us to give time to give any extra care to them that we need, because heaven knows heifers don't always want to claim their calf. So it's something that we've done for years, and now we have the facilities to be able to do it earlier and still get the cattle out to pasture somewhere. And we'll see what happens this year with getting them out and after they get paired up.
And Bryan, during calving season, how much? I know that's a busy time, and weather's a big factor during calving season. How many? I guess I could use the word employees. How many people? How many people does it take during the peak of calving season to take care of all the herd?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll go back and maybe introduce a little bit. Bridgette said we had a feedlot, so we're a Class B in the state of South Dakota. So we are registered for 1,999 head. And with the feedlot, we also have the cow-calf operation, where we have 300 head of commercial Black Angus that we AI and do a lot of research studies with our local university, SDSU, here for the last 20 years. And that, to keep all that going in roughly 1,000 acres of crop ground as well, we have 2 full-time employees, myself and one other, and then my father, who's here managing and running the business and doing all the running around, getting stuff, driving truck, helps us with baling, field planting, and usually heifers. So really for calving, it takes like two people, but the nice part with technology and integrating that is I can watch on my cameras on the tablet and not have to go in and disturb the cattle that are calving. So that's really beneficial for us and allows us to get the manpower down a little. But yeah, we really only have maybe half a personnel or 3/4 of a person that's managing the cow-calf calving side. And it gets busier when we get to 300 of them calved, and it might take a few days to work them. But we really have 3 full-time people, and then we have 2 or 3 VOTEC kids that come after school with our local technical college we have here, which I guess it's not a VOTEC anymore. It's a full college now. They've kind of upgraded their game. There's a lot of kids coming and going, and it's good for us to be able to integrate, that next generation to come and see what we're doing to track to theirs. So that's a long answer to how many people it takes, but it takes as many as it needs, and two to three people is kind of nice if you have a cow that isn't quite so cooperative, and a lot of gates are our friends.
That's absolutely the truth. And okay, I want to back way up and ask a question, because I actually get this from listeners who say, so what's a feedlot? What's the point of having a feedlot? So Bryan, do you want to tackle that?
Yeah. So our operation, our doors are pretty well open. We have a lot of people come in, try and give tours. Like you said, Bridgette, we won an Environmental Stewardship Award back in 2018 for Region 7 of NCBA, which is North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. And we were the region winners. And there's not typically a lot of feedlots that are recognized in this. It seems to be more range cow-calf operations. But what we're doing with our feedlot, we're a CAFO, concentrated animal feeding operation, and what that means is for more than 90 days a year, we have the pen ground that the cattle are standing in that doesn't have vegetation growing. So because of that, we're concentrated, and we need to have a nutrient management plan. So all the manure that we haul on fields is monitored and worked into the ground. We have cover crops that we also integrate into our system to help uptake and recycle those nutrients, as well as like our cow-calf is kind of separate from the CAFO, where they're not in the feedlot and concentrated. So we actually graze those on the corn stalks this fall as well. And we find it's a great systems approach to have the manure to put back out on the fields. We save on fertilizer, and my dad brags that that's what we're able to bring me back to the farm 10 years ago, was because we have the fertilizer to put back out in the form of manure instead of having to get either dry or liquid fertilizer from the co-op. And pretty much what it means is everybody's regulated if you have animals. It's just you have to fill out reports annually, monthly, quarterly per your confined or concentrated animal feeding operation, and that's what we do. We keep records, keep track of everything. We're big proponents of using technology. I like to be on the cutting edge, but I don't like always being on the razor blade edge of all the technology. I like getting in after some of the stuff's kind of made its way through and not fully commit to some of the stuff that it may take more time than I have to give to utilizing the new technologies. But integrating, we use a feeding app to feed our cattle with, so we can track what we treated, what we fed. And yeah, the biggest thing is why we're called a CAFO, and a lot of people misuse the term industrial or factory or whatever. That's not what it is. It's just a term that allows people to know what we're doing, that we have a nutrient management plan, that we're taking care of the cattle and getting all the byproducts used and upcycled. Especially in our region, we have distillers. I know a lot of people up in that area have beet pulp. For us, it doesn't make sense to ship it down here with the distillers and the other byproducts and soybean meal we have locally available. And we're able to, upcycle those byproducts through our feedlot. And that's one thing. We didn't really have the opportunity to buy land and expand and get more pasture acres, and we had a passion for cattle. And so by getting a CAFO permit, we are now able to keep our passion for cattle, use our local resources, manage it with our neighbors, and whether we're getting manure back out on some of their fields or doing different practices in our own fields, we've been able to get our organic matter from 2-3% to 5-6% on some of our fields by reintegrating the nutrient management, making it that whole biological system with the feedlot, the cow-calf, and our row crop operation. So pretty much we're watched by the government. We fill out paperwork. It's never-ending paperwork, as everybody always knows. It's kind of like taxes. You got to do it every month to keep up with it, or you never keep up. So that's what's real important, I guess. It's just pretty much telling us that, hey, you're being watched. You have to follow this protocol, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to continue operating. So we take great pride that everything's clean. And one of the best compliments we ever got after a tour of people came through, they said, when we come through, you can tell that your operation didn't just clean up for the day. You're always clean. You just swept up extra today so that we could walk through. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the best compliments you can get. And that's a standard we try to keep up. And the more comfortable you keep the cattle, the better they produce, and the easier it is on everybody.
Yeah. And Bryan, you said earlier, going back a little bit, out of South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas. You guys won the top award for the area. What are you doing different than some of the other operations in those 4 states?
I think one of the biggest things is just the
5 states. Yeah.
I think it's just the 4.
Oh, it's okay. All right.
I think it's just the four states. But one of the biggest things that we're doing, I think, is we're really open to the public and we're willing to show people what we're doing. As far as a feedlot goes, being able to utilize that manure back on our grounds, we've done a lot of work with different pheasants forever groups and the USDA NRCS to try and upgrade some of our pastures. We have a pasture we used to only take 50 pairs up to. We now take 80 pairs up to that pasture because we did a pinwheel water fountain setup where the cows all have a central water and we can just rotate them around. We can let that soil and the grass rest, and that allows then brooding habitat for especially like pheasants or quail, mostly pheasants though, to be able to brood and have that's undisturbed area. And to be able to upgrade everything we're doing. I mean, we go out to our fields, and if you look at our award video, Dad just went out with a tiling spade, took a shovel, and he had a handful of dirt, and there was a ton of worms in there. That's a good sign that you got good, healthy soil. And that's the biggest, I guess, benefit, I think, is how we're putting in shelter belts and tree lines, and we're making sure that we're taking care of our prairie pothole region that we live in, the Glacial Lakes region, because we have pretty much 4 sloughs or low-lying water grounds right around the feedlot. So we make sure nothing gets in those from the feedlot. It's all contained. It goes to settlement basin, evaporation pond. It gets hauled out appropriately per regulations to the field, applied and worked back into the ground so we can increase that organic matter. And we try and do that kind of every 3 years so that we don't have to rip or till the soil every year. So I would say we're more like a minimal till. And I think some of those practices just kind of all lumped together, and especially where we're the feedlot and we're increasing organic matter and we got the cow-calf, it's all back to that systems approach where it all comes together. I think that really stuck out to them because, yeah, it's not usually you see feedlots getting awards or that want to open their doors to even show it to the public.
Very interesting and super cool. Well, we got to hit bottom of the hour news here real quick, but if anyone listening has a question for Bryan and you want to get that asked, give us a call on our Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000, or studio inboxes via email. That's weather or egg at flagfamily.com, as well as those live comment boxes over there on Facebook and YouTube Live. We'll get caught up with local news here, and when we come back, we'll rejoin this conversation with Bryan Moes of Moes Feedlot in eastern South Dakota in just a moment.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit thorbuildings.com today.
Attention service technicians. Northern Plains Equipment, a certified Case IH dealer in Minot, Garrison, and Mandan, North Dakota, is looking for top-notch individuals to join their team and perform quality maintenance and repairs on all types of agricultural equipment. Northern Plains Equipment is a value-led 100% employee-owned company, offering competitive wages, benefits, and job training. If you're ready to work in a great environment with great people, apply at plainsag.com. Northern Plains Equipment, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. A new poll shows North Dakotans want more transparency for the state's legacy fund and want money from that fund going to local investments. The data is from the North Dakota News Cooperative, which shows 68% of respondents want investments from the legacy fund to stay within the state of North Dakota instead of investments with out-of-state or foreign companies. 59% of respondents were also open to using the legacy fund to reduce property taxes. The current overall value of the legacy fund stands at around $9.8 billion. A fourth candidate is joining the race to represent North Dakota in the U.S. House of Representatives. Julie Fedorchak officially filed her intent to run as a Republican candidate on Tuesday. And former Minnesota Republican candidate for Attorney General Jim Schultz is serving in a new role and now urging state lawmakers to exercise fiscal restraint during this session.
They increased taxes by $10 billion last year, and now there's discussions this coming session of a new state sales tax of another 0.3%, further increasing the financial burdens on everyday Minnesotans, on Minnesota's businesses.
Schultz is now serving as the president for the recently formed Minnesota Private Business Council. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
It's the Coffee Club with Janae and Ronnie.
The car's gone wild.
If you ask, I was going to say, if you end up asking to see somebody's camshaft, you're going to get smacked. So, yeah.
They don't do it on a hot day. Right. There's no leather seats out there.
Yes, exactly.
I can't even talk right now. Your face is completely red from how hard you were laughing.
The Coffee Club, weekdays 8:30 to 11 on AM 970 and 93.1 FM WDAY.
Luther Family Buick GMC has the inventory you've been waiting for. Don't just settle for what's left over. Pick your favorite from our huge selection of new Buicks and GMCs. The shelves are stocked and the lot is full with rates as low as 0.9 on a new GMC Sierra 1500 or 0.9 financing on most new Buick models for qualified buyers. Bring your title and your trade and come in today while the selection is strong. Luther Family Buick GMC South Fargo. We are professional grade.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And thank you so much for joining us today on Weather and Ag in Focus. Keep in mind, if you are in the Valley City area, coming up on February 17th, so that would be on this Saturday, there will be a benefit for Sam Hill. This will be at the Eagles Club. It's going to be supporting Sam's need for a service dog. So if you get the opportunity to join them from 5 to 7 over there at the Eagles Club, please do. Now, our guest today is Bryan Moes. He is with Moes Feedlot from Florence, South Dakota. And Bryan, I'm going to go also back to something you said a little bit earlier about using the cameras that you have on the lot. I think that's maybe a surprise to some listeners that they don't realize how important cameras are in your operation. I mean, could you talk about how you use them and maybe how they're important to you in something like the snow that you're currently getting?
Yeah, so when I talk about cameras, I mean, I got them on my phone, so anywhere I got internet, I can look at the cows, I can look at the yard. If somebody's got a question, it makes it that much easier for me to help. If it's somebody new that it's just getting trained in, I'm out in the field. But mainly, a biggest thing we have it for is for kind of peace of mind, safety, and security for if somebody comes on our yard. We've had a couple incidences before where it's helped us identify a vehicle and a license plate that came on the 4th of July and set off fireworks while I had a couple hired hands finishing up chores for the day. So just a safety, security type deal. It's really something that's very beneficial for us to have.
Hold on. Okay, so fireworks on the 4th of July. Most people think that's not a big deal. Bryan, why is that such a big deal when you have cattle? Because I know the answer.
So luckily, this was up by my house, not actually back by the cattle, but our house camera actually picked them up, and they got out of their vehicle, got some mortar or rocket mortar, set it off, and it went off, and you could see it go off, and I didn't know about it till they called me. Yeah, somebody pulled in the yard. I go, what do you mean somebody pulled in the yard? 4th of July, we usually don't have visitors, or the people we custom feed for are usually doing something, aren't there that day. But they said, yeah, they stopped. They were asking weird questions. It just seemed weird. And while they were at the farthest end of our feedlot cleaning one pen, there was one pen left to bed we didn't get to. So they did that, and then they were going to head off for their 4th of July activities. It's stuff like that we're in the country, we're remote, and people come in the yard all the time. We have a lot of visitors, a lot of salesmen. The white pickup truck brigade, always comes through. But being able to identify people and figure out, okay, what are you here for? And to be able to get that to police. I mean, we've helped with some other things with cameras as well. But I guess the biggest thing for us, the reason we got cameras is to calve. we are able to calve. We have a 60 by 120 that's kind of split into 60 by 60s that we calve in. And to be able to watch that cow, that heifer, see when she started, if she calved, what happened to the calf, did the calf get up and suck right away if we missed it, and not having to go in the shop, open a door, whether it's an overhead or a walk-in, and just let them sit there and naturally do their thing and know if they need help. My dad would say it saved a lot, just the amount of calves that had sacks over their nose for a wore-out heifer that didn't want to get up and lick and clean that sack off, not knowing what's going on. He says it pays for itself every year, and I would agree that getting that sack off that calf's nose and getting it up and going and making sure what's going on. You got 2 heifers that calved, and both of them are claiming it. You could know which one did or didn't have the calf by going back and looking per se, or watching. So it's allowed us peace of mind. It allows the cattle to do what they want to do more naturally without us intervening by walking around, getting a heifer up and making her stop what she's doing and have to settle down for 5-10 minutes to get back to calving. And just the effectiveness of that for me to be able to watch from my tablet or my phone, as I showed you, from wherever I have internet signal is kind of nice. Not so nice when Dad goes on vacation to Jamaica and calls you and says, "Yeah, this one calved," and they're both claiming it. The one that started calving didn't have hers yet. Can you go split them up? Yeah, I'll go split them up because
have fun in Jamaica, Dad.
Got up to check for a couple hours. Yeah. I hope you have fun your last day down there at the swim up bar.
Don't you have a beach to be enjoying or something?
Right?
Hey, Brian, we got a caller on the line here. Again, if anyone wants to join in on this conversation, ask a question. 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. And we got Mike here. Mike, you got a question for Brian?
Yeah, hi, Brian. I was just wondering, we go south to Arizona during the wintertime. We go by this town of Dalhart, Texas, and Cargill has a huge feedlot there. I'm sure you're aware of that. And I was just wondering, do they get any bigger than that? I mean, it absolutely goes for miles and miles and miles, and that's all you can see is cattle. And certainly you can smell it, too. But it's I was just wondering, that operation is absolutely massive.
As far as getting much bigger than that, I don't know that there's a lot that are all together in one bigger than that, but they do that because it's a shipping hub where a lot of the grains and stuff all come in, and it usually has a pretty good climate that with some water mitigation in the summer, they're able to keep cattle in a consistent environment. And I guess Nebraska and Texas are some of them that have some of those more consistent environments where they do put them together. But as far as one bigger, I don't know, but I have been there and talked to a bunch of people who work there, and they are very focused on what they're doing and pen management, riding through pens, good on-time feed deliveries with, tracking the feed programs. I mean, you're within minutes. You want to be almost like a dairy cow guy with feeding and with the amounts and making sure bunks are clean. But as far as bigger, I don't really know, but I do know where they're dry lot and don't have to use as much bedding. Like, we're mostly bed pack in our barns. We don't have any slatted barns, so we call it partial confinement. And we have to have a roof and outside to get through the winters and the rainy times.
Very interesting. Thanks for calling, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. For reference, do you know how big that operation is? You said you're licensed to be up to 1,999, I believe. Do you know what their size is or what that maximum limit is for the next class above you? I imagine there is.
Well, we're a Class B in South Dakota, and each state is a little different class. Okay. If we went Class A, it'd be anything over 2,000 head. And I know a lot of people that are over 2,000 head, and it's just a few more extra paperwork to do, like monthly, I think, instead of just doing it quarterly. And you also have to have more acres under your nutrient management plan to be able to handle the extra head count of however many head you want. I mean, you have both state and county levels that you have to get passed through the county commissioners board and then the state board to get through USDA and NRCS. And we just had a review of our CAFO permitting plan and just got that updated here this last year. So working through some of the steps of what we needed to do with some of the new protocols that are coming, because it's always changing regulation, and making sure that we can meet the criteria and keep up with hauling and integrating manure, and do we have enough storage based on how stuff changes. And like I said, we're a bed pack, and I don't know how big they are, but they are gigantic. I mean, you have 20 to 50,000 unit dry lots in a lot of places. That's not uncommon for Nebraska and some of those other states where they have more square footage for the pen space. Whereas us here, we kind of are trapped in by our prairie pothole region, all the low-lying water grounds. So we kept everything tight and close together. And it's also easier for us, I feel, for cattle comfort and production to be able to have that bed pack. And we clean edges twice a week in our barns, and then we stockpile or manage it depending on the time of year to get the manure out of the pens, keep the cattle dry. And we usually use a lot of corn stover as bedding, because straw has really went up in price and is kind of hard to get in my region.
And Bryan, I would say that I think one of the biggest lessons learned that anybody has noticed so far in our discussion with you is just the care of the animals, because this is not your grandpa's 1958 hip roof barn where you're raising just a few head. This is an operation that requires a lot of management and a lot of labor, and you guys do it really, really well right down there in Florence. And so that's a huge shout out to all of the work that you do, and we appreciate that. Last question, so that you get a chance to make sure people can contact you. You talked about doing tours and answering questions. How could people get a hold of you if they have an interest in talking with you further, or maybe they've got cattle they want to talk to you about custom feeding, etc.?
Yeah, so I'm available pretty much on every platform. I got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm at Moesified on all of them. They can find our Moes Feedlot page on Facebook. Haven't updated too much on there recently, but yeah, really reach out to us, because that's the biggest thing. Is we care about the community. We try and stay involved, whether it's the cattlemen's, the corn, soybean growers, Farm Bureau. I've been very involved in, been on the state board for the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee chair position I was on with my wife. And I guess that's the biggest thing. We care about the community. We want to reinvest in our community, help develop and build the future of agriculture. And that's why we have the local universities, and we even have a class from Wisconsin that comes about every other year to come and tour our facility, because of just what we've done, what we've been able to do, and really making sure we're open to the public, because sometimes it's hard for people who don't understand ag to really know, hey, they do care about them, but the doors are closed, not because we're afraid to show you what we're doing, but it's sometimes hard to have you out here safely and to communicate what we're doing. So yeah, at Moesified on a bunch of places. Really make sure, reach out to me, I guess. If I don't get back to you, it's busy calving season for us. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. But I'm on Clubhouse quite a bit too, talking to people throughout the day and building that community network of people you can really rely on, is I guess what our operation is trying to do, and just care towards the future.
Bryan, thank you so much for answering
it,
all sorts of questions, filling us in on what you do and who you are down there in Florence. We greatly appreciate it. So thank you. Now,
thank you.
For those of you who are actively listening and you've been waiting, get ready to dial 701-293-9000, because we're doing presidential trivia right after this.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit thorbuildings.com today.
It's time to go to Norway with a professional. My name is Carol T. Juven, and I have been in Norway 179 times and had over 49,000 people on tour in 98 countries of the world. Come and join me on my Norway luxury tour.
Take it from Carol. You'll love this luxury tour. July 15th through July 31st. All the details at juventours.com or give them a call.
See Norway at its very best. Fjords, waterfalls, and spectacular mountains. See Bergen, Norway's second largest city. Visit Fargo's sister city of Hamar. Meet and greet the mayor and local officials. We don't just tour Norway. We meet the people. Phone today, 1-800-343-0093. That phone again, toll free, 1-800-343-0093.
This will be a trip of a lifetime for you. July 15th through July 31st. Come along with Carol and the team.
More at juventours.com.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Well, it's that time of year again, and just like winter arriving every year, you can rely on Dave's Tire for all your car repair needs. Dave's West Fargo Tire and Service is here to help you with everything from oil changes and tires to brake repair, check engine lights, and no-start situations. We look forward to helping you with whatever your vehicle needs. Give us a call at 277-8618 or stop by and see us at 1225 Main Avenue East in West Fargo. Your car will be glad you did.
Let's have a neighborly conversation about the positive economic impacts CO2 utilization and storage will have for our two biggest industries in North Dakota, agriculture and energy. The Friends of Ag and Energy is coming to an ag show near you this month. Stop by and say hi. Register for a $100 gas card and ask us anything. Find out more at agenergyfriends.com. Sign the petition. Ask your questions. agenergyfriends.com. agenergyfriends.com.
Hi, this is Congressman Kelly Armstrong. Navigating USDA disaster assistance programs available to farmers and ranchers can be frustrating. My team can provide information that makes accessing these resources easier. If you are having trouble obtaining them, please reach out by calling my office at 701-353-6665 or contacting me online at armstrong.house.gov. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us on this Wednesday, the 14th, Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. It's 31 degrees outside. It's partly sunny, and we'll be optimistic here. We've got a 4 rundown on that forecast coming up in a moment. If you want to call in on the program, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. And commenters over there on Facebook and YouTube, that's comment boxes, they're available. And I just got to give a warm hello and happy Wednesday to Steve and Dirk. Got you guys a little present here. Know how much you guys love the Screaming Goat over there on YouTube, so thanks for tuning in again today. But now it's time. Bust out your phones, the keyboards, whatever you need, your Alexa device.
Now, keep in mind, if you already have your name in the drawing, you can only have it in once. So let's give everybody a chance here.
Going back.
We keep track.
We're looking.
Kick your name out of the list if you have been qualified more than one time. So all you're doing is maybe stealing a spot from someone else. So do everyone a favor. If you've already qualified once, don't call again.
Yeah. So, question for today. Which president hated giving public speeches so much that he only gave 2 speeches during his presidency? Again, the question today, which president hated giving public speeches so much that he only gave 2 speeches during his presidency? 701-593-2000. Wow.
Oh.
Who? Is that your number?
Whoa.
Sometimes I'll start a
That's Dean's
sentence,
number.
and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
I almost gave out my number.
Oh, I can do that for you. Don't worry. Let's see.
I've
What's
been
Nebraska's
leaving it all
area
over
code?
Town. Yeah. I've been leaving Dean's number all over town.
That's why I've been getting so many spam calls.
You talking about Sleepy Joe over there?
Sleepy Joe, right?
Yeah, here we go. Let's hit it again.
So again, today's question: which president hated giving public speeches so much that he only gave 2 speeches during his presidency? And again, this is to qualify for a $250 PetroServe gift card. And we'll have that drawing next week on President's Day, 4 o'clock on the Steve Hallstrom Show on our sister station.
Hi there, caller. What's your name?
Brenda.
Brenda. You think you got an idea?
William Henry Harrison.
Dean?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brenda. Try again, though. Hi there, Doug. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, guys. How you doing?
Hey, we're doing just fine. Enjoying the weather.
Right
you got a guess for our
It's
trivia
nice.
here?
I'm going to go with Tom Jefferson.
Bingo.
Right on.
Did you have to Google that, or did you know that?
I kind of knew that one, guys.
I would have had to have Googled it.
I would have had to Google it, too.
I had no idea. Well, right on, Doug. Well, you just got qualified to win that $250 gas card courtesy of PetroServe USA. Stay on the line. We'll get a little more information from you, and then congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
No problem.
You bet. Have a good one.
All right.
Thank goodness I didn't give out my number there.
You almost did. Don't
Almost
worry.
did.
I got your number here. We can still give that out.
No, we can't.
Let's see. Dean Wysocki.
867-5309.
That's not the area code.
No, it's area code 701.
Yeah.
867-5309.
That's what it is. Is that the ex's phone number?
It is.
Nice.
Don't want to know.
I
Don't
love
know.
it.
And just call and say Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. You still got that lick place? Well, that trivia didn't take too long. We got lots of time.
I thought it might take a
here.
little longer. Yeah, let's go over a few more ag topics, Bridget.
Okay, so a couple of other things. John Deere made a huge showing at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in January. So they've actually got one of the largest displays there. They're very well known at that show, starting since in about 2019. Now, their whole display was dubbed Dirt to Shirt, and they went through all of the production of cotton. So they had an iPhone where people who came up to the booth could follow along with an autonomous tractor that was literally in the field about 1,300 miles away planting the cotton. They could use a new seed furrow sensing product called Furrow Vision. This is camera enabled, and it lets the cameras be the eyes of the farmer as to how the seed is being placed and what's going on directly on the planting. Then they had a 120-foot carbon fiber boom from one of their See and Spray sprayers. So you could see how the 3 different nozzles are positioned, how the cameras work, and turn the machine on and off for fast switching and cut back amount of herbicide that's sprayed. So it's not a broadcast, it's more of a directed spray. Then they had a cotton harvester in the booth with them. So you could crawl all over the harvester. Cotton harvesting machines are actually the largest machine that John Deere builds, and it has the most moving parts of any other machine. And so now you got to see all the bells and whistles. The final stop in their booth was meeting the Bridgeforth Farms family. They are the folks who take their own cotton, and after it's been raised, they make it into T-shirts for John Deere.
You said that that was from dirt to shirt?
That's it.
How many people do you think just got an itch because they heard the word dirt?
I know for a
Instead of
fact
soil.
Sarah Lovis, our friend Sarah Lovis did, because she likes it to be called soil. And
John
she's
Deere,
not wrong.
I see what you did there, but I think you might have upset a couple of folks.
Absolutely. So, okay. Well, then last check of the weather, guys. How long is it going to last?
Well, we're going to have a couple of days that are coming up here that are going to be on the colder side. Today we're in the low 30s and upper 20s across most of the area. Some snow south of the border, down into areas of South Dakota, stretching into Minnesota. If you have any travel plans going south, you're going to run into that. We're going to gradually turn colder with highs in the teens by Friday, but then right back into the 30s as we head into the weekend. Our warm stretch continues. We'll take it. So for Bridget, for Justin, for myself, and for everybody else
And the
listening,
goat.
and the GOAT, I want to say thank you for listening to Weather and Ag in Focus. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
Try it.